Rich and I started talking about this, I think, back in June. It's amazing when you put Rich on a project how fast things happen, and I'm just thrilled that this is done and how well it went. They made it look easy. I watched from a distance. I wish I could have been here to help. Got to watch Mark on pictures up in the cherry picker and stuff. It looked like he was having way too much fun. So anyway, I'll give you a little bit of history for the family here. Besides making a lot of noise and dust over in the quarry, my family was involved with the hospital for many, many years. Actually, the first doctor in Elmhurst, Dr. George Heidemann, which is where the George name came from, he would be my great-grandfather, I believe. He was the first doctor for when it was still Cottage Hill, and for about 10 years. And it was actually his daughter, would be my great-great-grandmother, that she had a bout, I think, of appendicitis and had to be taken to Oak Park, did not survive. And I think that was sort of the impetus of we need to get a hospital here as the city started growing. My great-great-uncle, William Hammersmith, was one of the original board of directors. My grandfather, George Hammersmith, was on the board of the hospital since 1934 till 1983 at his time of his passing. I think he was head of the building committee when they put up this cupola. So quite a bit of history. And my only history really is that I was one of the 150,000 born there. Also with my wonderful wife. Actually, their family was in Des Plaines, but she was still born at Elmhurst. My 3 siblings, and then my 3 of my 4 children were born there too. And that's sort of the end of the history lesson, but I will tell you one little bit of history for me. This was an early childhood memory. I was about 6 years old. I think my brother Bob was born at the hospital. And my dad, if any of you knew him, not exactly Mr. Mom. He was in charge of us kids, I guess, during the time my mom was in the hospital. He decided when he went to pick up Mom and my brother that it would be a good idea to leave a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old in the car and go in and get my mom, come back out. My sister Martha, who was 4 at the time, and I'm going to blame her since she's not here, we were screwing around in the car, and she hit something, and the car rolled into the middle of the street. I'm assuming it was her toe or whatever. So now we're, 3 little kids sitting in the middle of the street blocking traffic. Total panic on my part. I'm in trouble, I'm sure. So anyway, I vividly remember my dad coming out what seemed to be 5 or 6 hours later. I'm sure it was about 10 minutes. Look on his face like I'm going to die. Now apparently this was before social services was invented, so we still got to live with my parents. But anyway, it all worked out okay. But it's nice. I guess that's my history. It's nice to be a part of this and just a wonderful part of this community. And again, thank you all. Next, with the more fun stuff, Honorable, I'm going to let you introduce. Sure. Okay. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, George.